Good morning. Here we are continuing our first unit of basic electrical engineering. Okay. So in my last class, I was talking about the short circuit and open circuit condition of the series and parallel condition of the circuit. Okay. That means when the resistors are connected in series or parallel, what is happening when somewhere some short circuit or open circuit is happening within the circuit. Okay, those things we have discussed in our last class. Now in this lecture or in this class I want to talk about our Kirchhoff's law. Okay, so before going to discuss briefly on Kirchhoff's law, we should talk about our electrical circuits. Okay, some basic or the fundamental things on electrical circuits we should talk about. Then after we will talk about our Kirchhoff's law. Okay, so now coming to electrical circuits. So in our electrical circuit we should understand the terms like circuit, then what is parameters, then linear circuit, that means what is linear circuit, then we'll learn what is non-linear circuit, then what is bilateral circuit, then you should learn what is unilateral circuit, then you will learn what is electrical network, then you will learn what is passive network, then what is active network, then you will learn what is node, then after that you will learn what is branch, loop and mesh in a circuit. Okay, so now coming to discuss coming for a discussion on circuit. Okay, one by one we'll talk about. Okay, so now our first term is circuit. So what is circuit? What is circuit? Okay, I want to talk about here what is circuit. So a circuit is a closed conducting path. Okay, we can define the circuit. A circuit is a closed conducting path through which an electric current either flows or intend to flow. Okay, that means when I am writing circuit, okay, a circuit is nothing but that is a closed conducting path. This is a closed conducting path. This is a closed conducting path here through which an electric current either flow or intend to flow. An electric current either flow in it or intended to flow in it. Okay, so this is our circuit. Then coming to talk about our parameter. What is parameter? Our parameter is when I am talking about our parameter. Okay, so here we can tell there are various elements of an electrical circuit. Okay, which are called parameters. It may be like our resistance. It may be our resistance. Then it may be our inductance. Then it may be our inductance. Then it may be our capacitance. Then it may be our capacitance. Okay, so these are the parameters which are observed in our electrical circuit, and these parameters may be lumped or distributed. Okay, these parameters may be lumped or distributed. Clear? In a circuit, these parameters may be in a lumped form or it may be distributed. Now coming to discuss about our linear circuit. So what is linear circuit? A linear circuit is one whose parameters are normally constant. That is, they don't change with voltage or current, then only that kind of circuit is called linear circuit. That means here when I'm talking about a circuit is linear, okay, then a circuit is said to be linear, is said to be linear, okay. A circuit is said to be linear circuit when its parameters are constant, okay. That means the parameters are not changing with respect to voltage or current, okay. So this kind of circuit is called linear. Then coming to non-linear circuit, okay, I am talking about now non-linear circuit. So when I am talking about non-linear circuit, it is the circuit whose parameters will be changed with respect to voltage and current. Here the parameters of the circuit will be changed with respect to voltage and current, okay. So when voltage and current are changing in that circuit, then the parameters of the circuit will be changed, okay. So these kind of circuits are known, these kind of circuits which are behaving the change in parameters with change in voltage and current, then that is called non-linear circuit. Then coming to the discussion for our bilateral network or bilateral circuit, okay. So what is bilateral? A bilateral circuit is one whose properties or characteristics are the same in either direction, okay, and the usual transmission lines are normally bilateral, okay, because it can be made to perform its function equally well in either of the direction, okay. I am talking about here transmission line, okay. So that means the transmission line is coming, we can describe the transmission line is under bilateral network. So that means what is bilateral network? What do you understand? A bilateral circuit, this is a circuit. So this circuit is one, this bilateral circuit is one whose parameters or whose properties. When I am talking about the bilateral circuit, okay, so this is the circuit whose properties or characteristics, okay, change whose properties and characteristics are the same or don't change, in either direction, okay. And the example is what? Transmission line, okay. So this is our example for bilateral circuit. Now come to discuss about unilateral circuit, okay. So when I am coming to discuss about unilateral circuit, I can tell here the circuits whose properties are changed or whose properties are changing with the direction of its operation, then those kind of circuit or these circuits are called unilateral circuit. So these kind of circuits, when I am talking about unilateral, that means the properties or characteristic, the properties of the the properties or characteristic of the circuit. When I am talking about our unilateral circuit, okay, where I can tell that the properties of the circuit, the properties of the circuit will change with the direction of its operation, with the direction of its operation. So these kind of circuits are called unilateral circuits. And for example, I can tell here that the diode rectifier is a unilateral circuit. Okay, diode rectifier. Example. Okay, so I can tell here that our diode rectifier is a unilateral circuit. Okay, because it can perform a rectification in both the directions of the circuit. So for that I am telling here that the diode rectifier as unilateral circuit. Okay, now I am talking about electrical network. What is electrical network? Here I have to tell. So when I am defining a electrical network, I can tell here that this is a combination of various electric elements which are connected in any manner whatsoever is called an electrical network. Okay, so I can tell here, or I can write here, that electrical network is a combination of what? Various electric elements It is a combination of various electric elements which are connected okay, which are connected in any manner, in any manner, okay, which are connected in any manner is called our electrical network. Okay, now I want to talk about passive network. What is passive network? Our next discussion is what? Passive network. What is passive network? So it is a network on which contains no source of EMF in it. Okay, this is a network in which it is a network in which there contains no source of EMF, or in which contains no source of EMF. Okay, no source of EMF in the network, So these kind of circuits, or these kind of networks, are called passive networks. Now coming to active network. So obviously, what is active network? So obviously here one or more source of EMF will be available. Then we can tell, or in a network in which one or more source of EMF will be available. Okay, then obviously that kind of network will be called as active network. So I can tell this is a network which contains one or more than one or more sources of EMFs, okay, in it, in the network. So then this kind of network is called what? Active network. Now coming to define our next, that is node. What is node? What is node? Okay, so I can tell here that node is nothing but it is a junction in a circuit where two or more circuit elements are connected together. So I can tell here node is a junction. It is a junction. It is a junction. Okay. So node is a junction in a circuit. In a circuit. In any circuit. In any circuit. Okay. Where two or more what? Two or more circuit elements are connected together. Circuit elements are connected together. Then this is called what? Node. Then coming to define our branch. Okay. Coming to define our what is branch. Okay. So branch is the part of a network which lies between two junctions. I can tell it branch. It is the part of a network. It is the part of a network, okay, which lies between two junctions. Which lies between two junctions. Okay, two junctions. Then what is loop? Then our discussion is loop. So what is loop? So a loop is nothing but it is a closed path in a circuit in which no elements or node is encountered more than once. Okay, so a loop is a closed path. It is a closed path. A loop is a closed path. Okay. A loop is a closed path in a circuit. In a circuit in which no elements or nodes. In which no elements or nodes. No elements or nodes. Okay. Is encountered more than once. Okay, so this is called loop. Then our last discussion, that is mesh. So what is mesh? It is a loop. That mesh is nothing but that is also called mesh, can be also called as loop. Okay, and mesh is a loop which contain no other loop within it. Okay, mesh is a loop. So it is a loop which contain no other loop in it. Okay, no other loop in it, within it. So now I want to talk about some symbols. Okay, We have standard symbols. Symbols in the circuit or network. So the symbol for conductor is this. This is our conductor. Then symbol for ground. Okay. Symbol for ground. This is your ground. This is a symbol for ground. Then symbol for switch. Symbol for switch is like this. Okay. Then symbol for battery. Okay. Symbol for battery is this is for battery. This is for symbol for battery. Okay. Then symbol for capacitor. Symbol for capacitor is this is our symbol for capacitor. Okay. Then symbol for resistor is this is our symbol for resistor. Okay. Then symbol for fuse. Okay. The symbol for fuse is symbol for fuse is symbol for fuse. This is our symbol for fuse. Then symbol for lamp is this is our symbol for lamp. Then symbol for rheostat is Okay, symbol for rheostat is this is our rheostat or variable resistor, I can tell you. Okay. Then symbol for galvanometer is galvanometer. This is our symbol for galvanometer. Then symbol for ammeter is this is our symbol for ammeter. Then symbol for voltmeter is this is our symbol for volt. Okay, so these are the standard symbols I have discussed now. Okay, now coming to the main topic. Okay, for our discussion. Now we can talk about various network theorems. Normally various network theorems are used which are helping for solving the complicated networks. Okay, so what I am telling here, we are using various theorems of network which are helping us for the solving of complicated network. So a network is said to be completely solved or analyzed when all the voltage or all the voltages and all the currents in its different elements are determined. Okay, so here I can tell you that there are two general approaches for the network analysis. That is, our first one is that may be called the direct method, and the next one may be the network reduction method. Okay, so when I am discussing about direct method, okay, when I am talking about our direct method, okay, in our direct method I can tell here that the network is left in its original form while determining its different voltages and currents. Okay, such methods are usually restricted to fairly simple circuits and include Kirchhoff's law. Okay, loop analysis, nodal analysis, superposition theorem. So when I'm talking about direct methods, okay, in here actually what I'm telling. So here the network is left its original form. The network will be the network will be the network will be as it is, means it will be remain its original form. So of the laws by which we are able to solve the network by direct method are maybe that is our Kirchhoff's law, it may be loop analysis, or it may be nodal analysis, okay, or it may be superposition theorem, or you may use superposition theorem for what direct method analysis. Okay, also we can talk about our compensation theorem, or also we can talk about our compensation theorem or reciprocity theorem Okay, so these theorems and laws are used for direct method analysis. Now our next method, that is I can tell here the next method is network reduction method. So here the network will be converted into a much simpler equivalent circuit. When I want to talk about network reduction method, so in this method the network is converted here the network is converted, okay, into a much simpler equivalent circuit, okay, for rapid calculation of different quantities. Clear? So this method can be applied to simple as well as complicated networks. This method can be applied to simple as well as complicated networks. Okay, complicated networks. Okay, so for this approach some examples I can tell here. Okay, for our network reduction method, okay, so in our network reduction method we can take the help of delta star or star delta conversion, delta star or star delta conversion, or star delta star or star delta conversion, Okay. Next, we can take the help of Thevenin's theorem. Okay. We can take the help of Thevenin's theorem. We can take the help of Norton's theorem. Norton's theorem. So these theorems are used for the network reduction method analysis, for the solving of the different elements in a network. Okay. Now we have to talk about, or again we are coming for our direct method analysis, and here we have to talk about our Kirchhoff's law. Okay. So our aim is, or my aim is, I want to talk about you Kirchhoff's law briefly in this lecture. So, or in this class. So coming for the discussion of Kirchhoff's law. Okay. Here I want to talk about our Kirchhoff's law. So 1 minute. So when I'm coming to talk about our Kirchhoff's law, so normally Kirchhoff's law is useful for determining the equivalent resistance of a complicated network of conductors. Okay. So I can tell here this is useful for determining the equivalent resistance of a complicated network of conductors. Okay. And the second useful of Kirchhoff's law is, I can tell here, for calculating the current, for calculating the current, okay, we can use two laws. We can use two laws of Kirchhoff, which are our Kirchhoff's point law or current law. Okay. The first one is our Kirchhoff's point law or current law, which is in short we are telling KCL, and the second law is Kirchhoff's mesh law or voltage law, which is in short we are telling KVL. Okay. So if I am talking about the Kirchhoff's current law, okay, that is KCL. So the statement of the KCL, or we can state the KCL as in an electrical network. Okay. So this is the statement of the KCL. This is our statement of KCL. So in an electrical network, the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a point or a junction is 0. So according to KCL, okay, when an electrical network is there, okay, so here if you are taking the algebraic sum of the currents meeting at a point or junction, then the resultant value will be coming as 0. The net value of the current will be at a point or junction will be 0. Okay. Similarly, when I am talking about the Kirchhoff's voltage law, the statement of Kirchhoff's voltage law, okay, I can tell here the statement I have written here, the statement of Kirchhoff's voltage law. So Kirchhoff's voltage law or KVL states that the algebraic sum of the products of current and resistances in each of the conductors in any closed path or mesh in a network plus the algebraic sum of the EMFs in that path is 0. Okay, that means that is the sum of IR drop plus the sum of EMFs will be 0. In short, suppose I am telling then the sum of IR or voltage drops due to resistance plus the EMFs available, if you are taking the sum of those things and the net sum we are taking, then the resultant value will be 0. Okay, so this is this is the statement of Kirchhoff's voltage law or KVL. Okay, now coming for the discussion of Kirchhoff's point law or KCL briefly here. Okay, so when I am talking about our Kirchhoff's law, okay, suppose in my simple means we are understanding that, okay, that here I can tell that the total current leaving a junction, okay, here I am showing some figure, okay, this is a junction and this is also a junction. Okay, so when I am telling that the total current leaving a junction is equal to the total current entering that junction, this is Kirchhoff's law, and it is obviously true because there is no accumulation of charge at the junction of the network. In the or at the junction of network, okay, there is no accumulation of charge. Okay, so for that obviously, so this law will be very true. So now I want to consider my first figure. Okay, this is our first figure, that is our figure A. Okay, this is our figure A. Consider this figure for understanding of Kirchhoff's law or Kirchhoff's current law. So here some conductors have currents leading to point A. Okay, and this is our point A. Okay, so in our figure A, some conductors have currents leading to point A, whereas some having leading away from the point A. Okay, or some other conductors having the current which are leading away from the point A. So assuming here the incoming current to be positive, I am assuming here the incoming currents to be positive. Here the assumption is the incoming currents as positive, and similarly my assumption is for the outgoing currents, for the outgoing currents will be assumed as negative. Okay, so that means if I am assuming the incoming current, see the figure A, if I am assuming the currents which are positive according to our assumption, which are incoming to the node or point, that is I can tell here the incomings are, it may be I1, or it may be I4 also, and the outgoings are I2, I3 and I5. Okay, so when I am writing according to our Kirchhoff's current law, okay, when I am writing for figure A, I can write that the I1, because the resultant of the current meeting at a point is 0, so I have to take I1 is positive here, so I can take directly I1 positive plus what is the value of I2, so it is outgoing current, so it will be considered as negative, then plus that is I3, so I3 is also negative value. I3 is also having negative value because this is also outgoing current. So I can write I3, that is minus I3, then the next current is what, that is our I4, which is coming to the point, so I can write here that is plus I4, then when I am coming to the current I5, okay, that is also leaving to the junction, or that is also leaving from the junction, so for that I can consider this current also minus. Okay, so and according to Kirchhoff's current law, the resultant will be what, the 0, so I can write this, yes or no. So now I can write here I1 After simplifying, I can write I1 plus I4 minus I2 minus I3 minus I5 will be 0. So I can write here again I1 plus I4 will be equal to what? I3 or I2 plus I3 plus I5. Again I am writing this. I can write as per our figure A, I can write I1 plus I4, okay, is equal to our I2 plus I3 plus I5. Okay, so that means according to Kirchhoff's law, we have verified that, okay, that is incoming current is equal to outgoing current. Okay, so here according to Kirchhoff's law I have written our incoming current is equal to outgoing current. Okay, now by considering our next figure, that is figure 2 or figure B. Okay, so by considering our figure B. Okay, I am considering the figure B here. Okay, so this is our figure B. So consider this. So here also I have to consider for node A. Okay, so for node A, see the node A. So the incoming current to node A is what? Only, that is current I. Okay, the incoming current to node A is only I. Okay, this is our incoming current, and the other currents which are I1, I2, I3 and I4, all the 4 currents are outgoing currents. Okay, so as per Kirchhoff's law, I can write here that is plus I, so my plus minus I1 because this is outgoing current, then plus minus I2, this is also outgoing current, then plus minus I3 because this is also outgoing current, then plus minus I4 as it is also outgoing current will be 0. Then I can write after in the next step I can write, that is for figure B I am writing here, that is I can write I is equal to I1 plus, okay, I2 plus I3 plus I4. Okay, so that means we conclude here that as per Kirchhoff's law, we conclude here that the sum over current I is equal to 0. Okay, so this is our Kirchhoff's current law we have concluded, okay, and verified also. Now we are coming to the next law, that is KVL or Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, now I am coming to the next law, that is Kirchhoff's mesh law or voltage law, which is called also in short, which is called also KVL. Okay, now I am continuing with our Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is KVL. So already I have told you the statement of the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So the statement is, that is again I am telling, that is the algebraic sum of the products of currents and the resistance in each of the conductors in any closed path or mesh in a network plus the algebraic sum of the EMFs in that path is 0. So if mathematically I want to write, okay, that is the sum of, that is IR plus sum over EMF will be 0. This is our Kirchhoff's law. This is our Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, so now we can note here that the algebraic sum is the sum which takes into the account of the polarities of the voltage drop. Now see this figure here. Okay, so this is a branch. Okay, this is a branch. Okay, and here I am and this is a node. Okay, as per the circuit, this is our branch, this is our node, and this is a loop here. Okay, this is a loop in the network. Okay, so I am considering this network. Okay, for the analysis, for the mesh for the Kirchhoff's analysis for the mesh. Okay, for this mesh I can analyze this mesh in form of that is our in this figure I am analyzing this mesh in form of current. Okay, because I am considering the node here. Okay, so as per the node, if I am considering this node, okay, as per the node I am considering the Kirchhoff's current law here for this mesh. Okay, so here see the sum of currents, yeah, that is at this node. Okay, here this is the node, so to this node the incoming current is I1, then this is the current which is in this direction, this is the current direction of I1, this is the current direction of I2, and this is the current direction of I3. Okay, so all are incomings, so I can write here according to Kirchhoff's current law, that is I1 plus I2 plus I3 is equal to 0. Or also if I am considering in other way, if they are if I am assuming that the current direction is opposite in direction, or then I can write minus I1 minus I2 minus I3 is equal to 0 also. Okay, similarly if I am considering the loop of the mesh, okay, if I am considering the loop of the mesh here, this is our loop. Okay, so I am considering the loop of the mesh here, and according to the voltage law, Kirchhoff's voltage law, I am writing, then I can write that is due to resistance R6 there may be a voltage drop, that is V6, and due to resistance R5 there may be voltage drop, that is V5, and there due to resistance that is R8 there may be voltage drop, that is V8, and similarly due to resistance R7 there may be a voltage drop, that is V7. So we have to take the resultant of the voltages, and that will be 0 when I am assuming or when I am considering the Kirchhoff's voltage law for this loop. Okay, so here I have assumed the voltage as V5, V6, V7 and V8 respectively. So if the sum of voltages are counter clockwise, okay, if we are assuming that the sum of the voltage is counterclockwise in this direction, okay, then obviously I can write that is V5 plus V6. I am in this direction, I am assuming V5 plus V6 plus V7 plus V8 is equal to 0. Okay, similarly if we are assuming the sum of voltages clockwise order, okay, then I can write here that is minus V5, I am assuming in this direction, minus V5, okay, minus V5, then that is minus V8, again that is minus V7, again that is okay, plus V6 will be 0. So that means for clockwise order we are, again I am telling you, I am writing minus V5 minus V8 minus V7 plus V6 is equal to 0 as per our sign convention. So again I am discussing here for the counterclockwise order. Okay, here I can write for counterclockwise for this loop I can write that is V5, this will be plus. Okay, this will be plus. Then if I am writing V6, okay, this will be actually minus V6. Here it is not correct. Okay, then again V7 plus V8 will be 0. Here only V6 will be minus because according to sign convention I am writing. Okay, so now coming to talk about our voltage or determination of voltage as per our sign. Okay, we have to discuss the sign convention here. It will be better for understanding that. Now I am coming to discuss about the determination of voltage signs. So when I am talking about or normally when our attention is to for algebraic sum of the voltage drops or EMFs, then obviously we should taking care of the sign conventions, otherwise the result will be wrong. So for that I am talking about two methods or two ways to understand the sign convention, that is sign of battery EMF. So for sign of battery EMF, okay, for sign of battery EMF, how we are understanding the sign. Okay, so this is our battery EMF. So here the direction is this. So when I am taking when I am considering this direction as per our sign, okay, so here the sign will be that is rise in voltage. Okay, so for that this the sign of the voltage will be plus here. So as per the potential I am writing plus here. And when there will be fall in voltage, okay, so this side will be plus and this side will be minus. So this is our another battery source. So here there is fall in voltage, so the sign will be, when I am considering this kind of battery source, and the direction will be this, as here the voltage is fall here. Okay, so it will be negative. So it will be negative. Similarly, when I am talking about our current, okay, or motion of the current, that is fall in voltage means that is minus V, which will be equal to minus IR. Okay, and this is the direction of. Similarly, when we are talking about the motion is rise in voltage, okay, that means there is plus V, so which is the voltage drop, that is V is IR. Okay, when there is rise in voltage, okay, that means the sign will be assume plus. Okay, so this is the sign convention or understanding of sign convention for battery source and EMFs. Okay, so again I am talking about the sign of IR drop. Okay, again I am talking about the sign of IR drop. This is for EMF and this is for IR drop. Okay, this is for IR drop. So when I am considering the IR drop, so consider this figure here to understand the sign of IR drop. Okay, here the direction of travel is given here. Okay, here the resistors are R1, R2, R3, R4, and here also some EMFs are there, E1 and E2. Okay, and here the current is I1 and this current is I2, this current is I3, and this current is I4. So when we have to talk about our IR drop, okay, understanding of the sign convention of IR drop, I can tell here as per the direction of assumption. Okay, I1 R1 will be negative, negative. Okay, because of fall in potential, because of here I am talking about I1 R1. Okay, I1 R1, this is the direction. So here there is fall in potential, so I can write, okay, negative as it is fall in potential. Similarly, I2 R2, I2 R2 can be written as negative because this is also fall in potential. Similarly, I can write for I3 R3, I3 R3, okay, which is positive because of rise in potential, rise in potential, rise in potential. So here I am writing for I3 R3, this is positive, for this is positive because rise in potential. And similarly, when I am considering our I4 R4, I4 R4, this is negative because fall in potential. That means when the assumed direction will be with the direction of current, there will be fall in potential of the voltage drop, and when it is opposite to the direction of current, main current, that is rise in potential. And here obviously what is the value of E2 and E1? For the value of E2, the value of E2 will be what? This is the direction. So this is the direction, that means here the fall in potential, so this is plus, this is minus, so here the fall in potential, so this will be negative as it is fall in potential. And similarly, if I am considering E1, okay, this is minus, this is plus, so it will be considered as rise in potential, so this will be plus B. So by applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to this network, to this loop, I can write, okay, that is minus I1 R2, again I am writing, that is minus I1 R1 minus I2 R2 minus I3 R3 minus I4 R4, okay, minus E2 plus E1 will be 0. Okay, so again we can write, that is E1 minus C2, E1 minus C2 will be what? That is our I1 R1 plus I2 R2 minus I3 R3 plus I4 R4. Okay, for I3 R3 this will be plus. Okay, already we have discussed here. Okay, for I3 R3 this will be plus, of other resistive drop will be minus. Okay, so I can write here for this assumption, E1 minus E2 will be I1 R1 plus I2 R2 minus I3 R3 plus I4 R4. Now when I am assuming the direction of current, I can tell here that the important point, okay, or when applying Kirchhoff's law to the electrical network, the question of assuming the proper direction of current is usually arises. That is, the direction of current flow may be assumed either clockwise or anti-clockwise, and if the assumed direction of current is not the actual direction, then when you are solving the question, this current will be found to have a minus sign. Okay, and if the answer is positive, then the assumed direction is the same as actual direction. So that means here the important point is that once a particular direction has been assumed, the same should be used throughout the solution of the question. So now we have completed the Kirchhoff's voltage law and current law, means the Kirchhoff's current law we have completed here. So thank you very much.